guys, this is just kind of an intro. I thought I needed an intro for this. I'm not really sure what I need to say except for the fact that in this video I'm going to show you how to solve simultaneous equations, and I hope you enjoy. My friends, actually a few of them asked me to do this topic, so I hope I help some of them. So again, the first one is an easy one, and as we do them we'll start to understand why this is an easy one. I'll try to explain it in short now, but we won't understand it until we actually put it to action. So these two are equations, exactly the same thing we did in the previous topic, so my previous video. This is one equation and this is one equation. Oh, my lines are a bit wonky, but these two are simultaneous equations because there's two variables, so there's an x and there's a y, and we don't know what x is and we don't know what y is. And that is the point of simultaneous equations, to find both variables, the values of both variables. So I'm going to do the steps. I'm going to try to write the steps out in red here. I'm not sure if I'll have enough space towards the end, but I'll try my best. And so the first step we need to do is ensure either the y's or the x's have the same value and different signs. So this is what I mean when I say this is an easy one. The y's, one of the variables, is already the same value and have opposite signs. So let me just write these guidelines here. So that's our first thing we need to ensure. It's not a step, it's just something we need to keep in mind. So as we can see, one variable is the same value, so the y's are the same value. Maybe I should just add a note that any variable on its own, so let it be x, a, y, z, any number or letter on its own just means that there's one of the letter. We don't usually write in the number if it's just one, but just know that minus y is equal to minus 1y, plus y is equal to plus 1y. And they have opposite signs. So already we know that we don't need to change anything in either equation to begin. So step one, as I already wrote up there, is to add both of the equations. And we draw a plus. So 4x plus 6x is going to give us, it's going to give us 10x. And then minus y plus y gives us 0. So that's why we need the same value in opposite signs, so we can cancel them out. And so we get 0. And then this turns it into a simple equation, which is what we did in the last video. 8 plus 22 gives us 30. So now it's just the exact same thing we did in the last video. All we need to do is we need to get x on its own, and to get x on its own we divide by the number with it, divide by 10, and then we do it on one side, we have to do it on the other side. So 10x divided by 10 gives us x, 30 divided by 10 gives us just 3. So now we have our value for x, but if we look back to this equation, or to any of the equations, we still have a y. So what we need to do now is substitute for x to get y. So our second variable is y, and we can pick either one of the equations. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. We can pick whichever one we want. I'm just going to go with the first one. So 4x minus y is equal to 8, and then we write 4 and then substitute x for 3 because we know x is 3 now, minus y is equal to 8. 4 times 3 is 12, or minus y is equal to 8. Since this is a positive 12, we minus 12 at both sides. 12 minus 12 gives us 0, so then it just leaves us with minus y is equal to 8 minus 12 gives us minus 4. And the last step is just to turn the minus y into a plus y. This is a very easy step, but sometimes we can avoid it. But in this case we can't. All we need to do is either divide or multiply by minus 1. Because any number or letter multiplied by 1 stays the same. And if we multiply it by a minus, minus by a minus gives us a plus. So minus y multiplied by minus 1 gives us just y. And then we do the same on the other side by minus 1. Minus 4 multiplied by minus 1 gives us just 4. So these are our two values. X is equal to 3, y is equal to 4. That is our answer. The one we have now is a little bit more complicated because if we remember our guidelines, neither variable have the same values and they're all positives. So these two don't have a minus beside them. That means they are positive. So this 1a, if you do remember, I wrote a is equal to just 1a. I'll just add that in here. And this might be a little bit more tricky because we need to do something to either one or both of the equations to make them fit into our guidelines, so our little rule. So the first step So manipulate one or both of the equations means just change them a little bit. So how we do that is we can multiply one of the equation by something to get the same value but opposite sign. So I'll explain that in a little bit. So it actually doesn't matter which part of the equation you use. You can use A, you can use B, and they're not always going to be A or B, X or Y. They can be Z, F, L, it doesn't matter. But I'm just going to do the middle one. So what we need to do is we need to find the lowest common multiple of 2 and 4. So the lowest common multiple of 2 and 4 is just 4. 4 multiplies by 1 to get 4. 2 multiplies by 2 to get 4. So what we need to do is we need to multiply the top one by 2 to get the same value. And since we want to get a different sign, we want the opposite sign, we want a minus, we multiply by minus 2, because minus 2 by plus 2 will give us minus 4, which is what we're looking for. This one we can leave alone, or we can write multiplied by 1. It doesn't really make a difference because anything multiplied by 1 just stays the same. So minus 2 by a gives us minus 2a, plus 2b by minus 2 gives us minus 4b, which is exactly what we're looking for if we look up here. And then 14 multiplied by minus 2 gives us minus 28. Now we just rewrite this, or if we multiply by 1, it's not going to make a difference. So 3a plus 4b is equal to 34. So now step 2 is just add them, same as the previous one. So minus 2a plus 3a gives us just 1a. We can write in the 1 if we want. And then I've already written the equal sign because minus 4b plus 4b just cancel out. It gives us 0. So we don't need to write anything there. And then minus 28 plus 34 is the same as 34 minus 28, which is 6. So now we know that 1a is 6. So a is equal to 6. we'll just write our answers maybe here. So A is equal to 6 and B is equal to, we're going to find out now. Now we pick either one of the equations. So again, we're going to number. So this is 1, this is 2. We can pick whichever one we want. So this time I'll do 2, for example. 3a plus 4b is equal to 34. Since we know a is 6, so 6 plus 4b is equal to 34. 3 by 4 gives us 18, plus 4b is equal to 34. Now it's just the same thing we did up here. Equations. This is a plus, but this is a positive, or a plus 18, so we do the opposite, so we minus 18. Minus 18 on the other side to keep the equation stable. That's very wonky 8, but we're left with 4b is equal to 34 minus 18, which gives us 16. Maybe I should move it up a little bit, so we can move it up here. 4b is equal to 16. And since we want to get just one b, we need to separate it from the 4, which is divide. So that means b is equal to 4, because 16 divided by 4 is 4. So these are our two answers. Now you can see I left the steps up there because it's practically the same steps for this one, but it does look a little bit more complicated because they are fractions. So this is one fraction, and this is our second fraction. And you might be wondering, how do I turn that into, how do I make that the same as this? So we know that any number over a number is that number divided by the number that's underneath. So 5x over 3 is equal to 5x divided by 3. We're not given an answer, we're not given a solid answer for that, but we are told that 5x is being divided by 3. That is why it's not a full number. But then these are also fractions. They're just shortened. So 2x is actually equal to 2x over 1 because it's that value out of 1. Minus 3y is equal to minus 3y over 1. And so on. 24 is equal to 24 over 1. I won't write out all of them, but you get the idea. Now, to turn this fraction back into a full number, 5x over 3, we need to multiply it by the bottom. So instead of divide, we do the opposite. So 5x over 3 multiplied by 3 gives us just 5x. So it's 5x over 1. We're getting a full number, a whole number. To get this one to be a full number, minus y over 2, we need to multiply it also by the bottom number. So by 2 gives us minus y. And now we can't really multiply them separately. We need to multiply them as one row. So what we need to do for that is we need to find the lowest common multiple of the bottom two numbers. So lowest common multiple of 3 and 2 is 6. So we multiply the bottom row by 6. We just rewrite the top one because we're not doing anything to it. Is equal to 24. Now we need to multiply this whole row by 6. But this one's already being divided by 3, so we get 6 and then we divide it by the bottom number here. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. which is what we divide the top, or which is what we multiply the top number by. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. The x stays the same. The sign here stays the same as well. And now 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's what we multiply the top one by. So 3 by y, it gives us 3y. And now, since this is just over 1, 6 divided by 1 gives us 6. So we multiply 12 by 6, which is 72. Now, we're back to this step again. We need to do this step twice when it's a fraction, because if we remember our guidelines, the values have to be the same and the signs have to differ. So first step, we have the values. The values are the same. All we need to do now is just change the signs. So we can multiply whichever one we want by minus 1, because minus by a minus will give us a plus. So I'm going to do the first one. So multiplied by minus 1. Now 2x multiplied by minus 1 gives us minus 2x. Minus 3y by minus 1 gives us plus 3y. And then 24 by minus 1 gives us minus 24. Now we can just rewrite this one, or we can write multiplied by 1, which it'll give us the same answer. So we just rewrite it. 72. Now we're back to step 2, and we add them. So maybe we should use blue. So we add them. Minus 2x plus 10x is the same as 10x minus 2, which is 8x. These two cancel out, which is exactly what we want. Minus 3y plus 3y minus 3y gives us 0. We bring down the equal sign, and then minus 24 plus 72 is the same as 72 minus 24, which will give us 48. Now what we need to do is we need to separate the x from the 8, which is what we did in our last video. To do that, we need to multiply or divide, because these two are being multiplied, which gives us x is equal to 6. We still have a y in this equation, so we can pick whichever one we want. We can pick either this one, or we can pick the already modified version of this one. So I'm just going to do the first one. So 2x minus 3y will give us 24. So we substitute 2, 6. So we're on this step again. Step 3. Minus 3y will give us 24. 2 by 6 is 12. By minus 3y, 24. Now it's just solving an equation. Since it's a positive, 12 minus 12. 12 minus 12 gives us 0, so we're left with minus 3y. 24 minus 12 gives us 12. And now we just need to separate the minus 3 from the y, so we can multiply by minus 3. Multiply by minus 3. Minus 3y divided by minus 3 gives us just y. 12 divided by minus 3 gives us minus 4. So these two are our answers. So this, my friend specifically asked me to help her with, and it might look tricky because it doesn't actually look like simultaneous equations, because it's just one line, one sentence. But we just need to split this sentence up into 2. So we see that x plus y will give us 3, and we see that 3 is equal to 2x minus y. So 3 is equal to 2x minus y is the same as 2x minus y is equal to 3. Now it looks like equation, or it looks like simultaneous equations. And if we remember our guidelines, the x's aren't alike, but the y's have the same value, and they already have the same signs. So it's just step 2 from the last one. We add the plus. X plus 2x gives us 3x plus y plus minus y. So y minus y gives us 0. I won't cross it out though because the highlighter is lighter than the marker is lighter than the blue, so I don't want them to mix. 3 plus 3 is 6. So now we just separate the 3 and the x. So divide it by 3. X is equal to 2. And now we just find y. So we pick one of the equations. Let's pick the second one maybe. 2x minus y is equal to 3. 2 minus y is equal to 3. 2 by 2 is 4. Minus y is equal to 3. Simultaneous equations. 4. So we do minus 4 because it's a positive. Minus 4 here as well. Minus 4 plus 4 minus 4 gives us 0, so we're left with 4y. 3 minus 4 gives us minus 1. And now we just want to transform this minus y into a plus y because we're looking for a plus y. So we multiply or divide by minus 1. It doesn't actually matter which one you use because any number divided by 1 gives us the same number, and any number multiplied by 1 gives us the same number. Y, and then we divide this side by minus 1 as well, gives us 1. So these two are our answers. X is equal to 2, y is equal to 1.